Alright, on today's video, this is going to be about the hybrid Lemon Boy tomato. Now, the Lemon Boy tomato, is a hybrid currently, so, you can't really save the seeds from it and expect to grow the same plant. There is a plant breeder out there that says they have created a stable, open pollinated variety. I don't believe that's on the market yet, and we'll see in the future where that leads. When you look this tomato up, you will find that there's a Lemon Boy and a Lemon Boy Plus. So the Lemon Boy Plus has a better disease resistance package. It's more disease resistance and improved variety. It also has a higher, what they call Brix value. Just learned what that actually was today, which basically is like sugar content. So the Lemon Boy Plus is going to have a higher sugar content than your regular Lemon Boy. But the Lemon Boy Plus is a more expensive tomato, so your seeds are probably going to be almost like twice the price because it's a much newer variety, and I believe it was improved by Bayer, because that's the website that's describing its improvements. Anyway, so let's get to the actual Lemon Boy tomato itself. Obviously, it is a yellow tomato. Kind of gets like a gold color if it gets a little overripe, but to try to have some contrast to color here, Lemon Boy, Kellogg's breakfast. So you can kind of really see the contrast of the Lemon Boy is definitely a yellow tomato. It can pick up a little bit of a gold tone under the right light. It's has a good disease resistance. The regular Lemon Boy does by itself. It seems to be very resistant to cracking and splitting. I actually have any of them really crack or split, and we definitely had the weather that would induce that. Some like really intense rainfall, inches and inches of rain, the type of weather that makes tomatoes just bust open. The Lemon Boy just didn't do that. This year as a whole has been terrible weather for tomato. Hot, humid, the worst possible thing. You have constantly over 90-degree days, very high humidity, rain. That causes a lot of tomato blight, disease, just an awful weather pattern for tomato plants as a whole. But what I will say is the Lemon Boy has done actually exceptionally well. All these tomatoes I harvested just like 10 minutes ago off the plant. There are no different stages of ripeness. I'm going to go over that with the Lemon Boy tomato. But I've already had 2 tomato plants completely died and dead for a few weeks now. I've actually planted new plants in their place. Had a great white tomato, which I like, but it's a heirloom, and Mother Nature said, nah, we're going to get you out of here, and it got really bad blight, and it died. Also had a new tomato group. It was a hybrid green choice chef. Definitely not going to grow that one again. It was the first tomato to die. It just did terrible. But this Lemon Boy has held on. It's been a great producer. It produces really pretty tomatoes. They're not splitting, and they also have good shelf life. So they're a firmer tomato, and they're not rotting and decaying, as soon as you bring them to the house, like the Kellogg's breakfast, which I do like. It's a pretty, very large orange heirloom beefsteak tomato, but it like rots and breaks down instantly. It has a terrible shelf life, versus the Lemon Boy has a good shelf life. You could transport this if you're someone that like sells stuff in a farmer's market or something. Lemon Boy tomato would be a good one to grow because it's pretty, it's firm, but also it holds up and it doesn't, mold and rot instantly. So the size varies. I'm going to put this scale on ounces here just to weigh a few. So 8.3 ounces, 11 ounces. So I actually got some really big varieties. So that's somewhere between like 7, 8, maybe 6 to 9 ounces for what the recommended sizes were, what they were advertising. All of mine are over that. 9 ounces, 11, 8. The smallest one I have, this is probably the smallest. It's right at under 5. That one's almost 11. So, get an idea of somewhere between, depending on your plant, probably anywhere from like 5 all up to 11 ounces. You have this one here, extremely ripe, versus this one here has a lot of green on it still. Here's the thing about the Lemon Boy. I generally like to pick my tomatoes when they're completely ripe. But depending on whether you got some very high sun intensity, maybe you got a really bad storm coming through, You got birds pecking at them that tend to peck at tomatoes once they're at their peak ripeness, and maybe you want to get them off the plant before that damage happens. I found the lemon wood does an excellent job as long as you have some yellow on the bottom. And as long as you have that yellow on the bottom, even if you're green on the top, you just put this on like a windowsill or whatever. It does a really good job of continuing to ripen and develop its full color. And it just gives you a really good shelf life. Like you could pick a tomato like this, sit it on your counter, and give it maybe 3 to 4 days, 5 days at the most. It'll be fully yellow on top. It'll probably last like 2 weeks on your counter. Versus kind of like breakfast, it's like you get one of those right, you're like 2 days and it's done. So let's cut a good one open, not one of the green. I'll set that aside. It's gonna go on the counter for later. So let's get one of the peak ones, or let's see, for a nice firm one here. That one's, oh, that's very ripe. So let's go with this guy, just a little bit of green on top. Let's cut an actual slice so you can get kind of like a transparent, thin little piece. So, I mean, that's the tomato. Nice yellow color. Definitely a lot of, I would say it's a fairly juicy tomato. A lot of juice, a lot of seed pocket in there. It's a pretty tomato. Taste-wise, it's pretty good. So, yellow tomatoes generally going to have low acid. I would say lower acid tomato, higher sugar content, milder flavor. So, this really is going to depend. Is it a good tomato to eat? But this really depends what you like. If you like a really acidic tomato, then maybe this isn't for you. Maybe if you want a tomato that has a lower acid level, that has a little bit sweeter taste. It's also milder, so like just a milder, less intense flavor. This is a good tomato. If you want something that's like very overpowering, very strong, this may not be for you. So overall, I like it. I think it'd probably be good in like, I've actually used it in pasta sauces with my other red tomatoes. It gives it more of like kind of like a fruitier, sweeter taste. Use it in salsa, mix it with some like orange or red tomatoes, gives you like a a nice color contrast. Good on sandwiches, BLTs. I'm actually gonna cut some of these up, some other ones, and make some salsa today. Also, probably the rest of these tomatoes we're gonna pick out in the garden. Go ahead and probably do some canning today. Do some stewed tomatoes. Go ahead and get them canned, get them preserved, as they are starting to really break down. It's been so hot. It's just a terrible environment this year for tomatoes. But anyway, I'll put a description in the video of where I got the seeds, which is from Seeds and Such. This place has really good prices. They don't have their packets are lightly packed. Not getting a lot of seeds in their packs, but it's a great place. You really want to try a variety. You really just don't need a whole lot of seeds. Seeds and Such is a good place, especially in the southeast, because they are out in South Carolina. I don't know if they have a Georgia location. Maybe they do, but I know they're in South Carolina. So if you're in the southeast, stuff's going to get shipped to you probably a little bit quicker. And also in the description of the video, I'll kind of have all the claims of the disease resistance that this tomato has. I know they're resistant to a few types of wilt. There's a type of canker they're resistant to. And they're also resistant to nematodes. I don't have an issue with nematodes, but if you do have an issue with nematodes, I'll maybe try this variety. But I'll give you a quick tip. If you have an issue with nematodes, you need to do a cover crop in your garden. Do some type of like a mustard seed cover crop. You can look those up. They have ones that are like a blend of like 3 different types of mustard. Mustards do a really good job of growing them the whole winter, till them in, whatever. A really good way to help get rid of nematodes naturally. Anyway, till next time, I hope y'all have a good day.